During Lent of 1231, St. Anthony dedicated himself intensely to preaching and hearing confession, drawing large crowds eager to hear his words. His homilies deeply touched the hearts of the faithful, but the physical toll was immense. His health, already in a fragile state, began to deteriorate further. By the end of the Easter season, Anthony's strength was nearly gone. The friars of his community, deeply concerned, urged him to cease all activities. Weakened by exhaustion and illness, he was no longer able to preach, hear confession, or even feed himself. Each breath became a struggle. In hopes of helping him recover, the friars brought him to the small friary in Campo San Piero, about 20 kilometers from Padua. There, surrounded by the quiet of nature and care of the local friars, he spent his final days in prayer and contemplations. To ease his breathing, he often withdrew to a wooden platform nestled among the branches of a walnut tree, a place of peace and stillness in his final journey. One evening, in the quiet of this particular cell, Anthony was deep in meditation, contemplating a verse from the Gospel of St. John, and the Word became flesh and came to dwell among us. With his heart absorbed in prayer, he reflected on the mystery of the Incarnation, trying to grasp both in mind and spirit the depth of divine love. Suddenly, a radiant light filled the room. Anthony gasped. Before him stood the baby Jesus, glowing with heavenly brilliance. The infant Jesus, smiling, stretched out his arms. Overwhelmed with wonder and love, Anthony gently took the child into his arms, looking with wonder at his lovely face. In that moment, time seemed to stop. All else faded, the room, the world, until only the miracle remained, a sacred encounter between heaven and earth. At that very hour, Count Tiso, a friend of and benefactor of the friars, noticed an unusual light shining from Anthony's cell. Fearing a fire or some other danger, he quietly approached the door. Peeking through a small opening, he was stunned to see the saint gently cradling the child Jesus in his arms, both bathed in supernatural light. A few days after the extraordinary experience of holding the Christ child in his arms, St. Anthony felt deep within his soul that his earthly journey was drawing to a close. Yet the divine light that had shone so brightly in his vision continued to burn within him, filling him with a profound and abiding peace. With that living light in his heart, he climbed once more the tree where he often withdrew in prayer. There, surrounded by the silence of nature and the presence of the faithful, he delivered his final homily to the gathered crowd.
On Mount Tabor, Christ's face shone like the sun, and his garments gleamed with light, revealing the splendor of his divinity. He showed this glory to strengthen his disciples for the trial of the cross, so that they would not lose heart. And so it is with us. The path to glory often leads through suffering, but do not be afraid. Christ goes before us, calling us to be transfigured in faith and love. Let us listen to Him, trust in Him, and follow Him, so that one day we too may be transformed in the light of His eternal kingdom. May His glory be our guide, now and always.
Just as Peter, James, and John contemplated the glory of Jesus on Mount Tabor, so did St. Anthony experience a foretaste of the divine light in his encounter with the child Jesus. Therefore, let us turn to him with trust and confidence. Dear St. Anthony, you saw the light of Jesus in the face of the child. Help us to grow closer to him in the Eucharist. Teach us to listen to his voice, to trust him, and to follow him so that we may be changed by his love. Amen.